chasing women never works. So in this video, I want to cover why that actual dynamic will basically guarantee that you fail. Now, why should you listen to me? So I'm going to put some photo and video evidence here that your boy actually has some skills with the opposite sex. I think it's like super try hard to be like, look at me with all these girls. And it's like, ugh. But like, I also understand that if you're gonna take advice from a guy on the internet, you're like, yo, I wanna make sure that guy's actually fucking good. So video evidence, I might know a thing or two. Okay, so chasing doesn't actually work. Now, this topic is basically covered by something called the seller-buyer dynamic, okay? Which is basically one person selling and one person's buying, okay? When someone's selling, the person on the other end is like, their skepticism hat is on. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't know, right? The person's like pitching and they're talking about it and the other person's guard is up. They're like skeptical about it. They're looking for what's wrong with it because they're in the buyer role and the other person's in the seller role, okay? So when you chase, you are activating that part of the brain that's skeptical. So when you're pursuing and you're going after it and they can feel that you're like trying to kind of like sell them on it, you're like chasing them down, you're forcing them into the position of the buyer. You're making it where you're the seller and they're the buyer. So what that woman's gonna do is basically screen for every single thing that's wrong with you. They're gonna be like, I don't know, okay? And this is why chasing doesn't work, because you're causing that part of their brain that scans for what's wrong to come online. Now, what you wanna do, switch the dynamic. You want it to be where you're the buyer and they're the seller. Now, traditionally, it's the other way. Men are gonna be the seller, they're the buyer. Women sit there on the little stool. They're like, I don't know about this one, okay? You gotta take it. You have to take that dynamic. You gotta switch that dynamic where you're not the seller, they're the seller, and you're the buyer. And switch the dynamic, okay? And there are a couple ways to do this, but I want to point out the benefits of this is where now you're like, I don't know, girl, like, what you got going on? You know what I mean? Just that, just me saying that, you can see what I'm talking about, right? If I'm like, yeah, I mean, look all right, but I don't know. What's going on? Tell me what's up. I'm a little suspicious. Not so sure about you. You can just hear me doing that and you can tell that it's like, oh, it's gonna cause the other person to no longer be looking for what's wrong and to switch to like, well, how can I kind of like get it, okay? Now another concept that's in this category is self-qualification, where you like qualify yourself like, well, I got this and like I got this and I got this. If you self-qualify, you're basically putting yourself in the seller dynamic and you're putting them in the buyer dynamic and you're like causing them to like look for everything that's wrong, okay? So this is something just transparently about me where like, I don't really self-qualify. Like I can feel myself want to do it sometimes and I'm just like, it's very rare. Let me tell you that. Like, it's very rare. Like, even if I'm on like sales calls and stuff and I'm like, I don't even want to qualify. I mean, you kind of have to sometimes, like you're kind of forced to based off the dynamic, but like real talk, in a perfect world, you never self-qualify because it puts you in the seller dynamic and them in the buyer, okay? So the girl's like, well, what's so special about you? Like, da-da-da, and I'm like, me? Special? Not answering it. What do you do for work? Employed? work? Not answering it. Well, I think you're like, you know, not funny. Not answering it. Well, my friend thinks that you're a fucking asshole. This one comes from Jeffy. What is it about assholes that turns you on so much? Not going to qualify the other way because it's going to put you in that chase. It's going to put you where you're like, you're the seller and they're the buyer. And that's going to cause that part of their brain that focuses on what's wrong to come online, okay? So self-qualification is another really important thing. I see so many guys self-qualify. Even bigger picture, their entire fucking life is some compensation. They're like, I gotta get all this money. I gotta get all these muscles. I'm like, dude, your boy's skinny and fucking broke. As of recording this video, it's just what it is. You don't need it. I'll make another video on like the downsides of getting really good with women. And one of them is like, you realize you don't need anything and then like you do a lot less of it. So, okay, back to the point, which is these guys, it's not only that they self-qualify in it, it's that their whole fucking vibe, their entire life is like a giant self-qualification thing. Like when I see a guy with like a overly amount of muscles or like overly amount of money, I'm just like, hey, like, that's pretty pathetic, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, if a guy's like in shape and feels good about it, you can tell when it's like that guy's vibe where he just likes doing it. I'm not talking about that. I want to hold space and like honor that. Like there are some guys that just like, they love playing the money game. It's not about something, they just like really enjoy it. It's not coming from an insecurity. Or there are guys that like, they just love lifting, dude. I know guys are that way. They just like love it. Like it's not coming from some insecurity. It's not coming from like some amount of like, I'm not good enough. Like it's really genuinely coming from a place of like, this person like really likes doing it. And that's awesome. Like, I think that's dope. Like when a person actually just really enjoys doing something and they like, it like speaks to their soul, that's amazing. Like I love that. Okay. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where you can tell that the guy's just doing it. And it's like, he's insecure, he's compensating, compensatory lifestyle, if you will. And he's self-qualifying at an unbelievable deep level. So I'm not just talking about like self-qualifying in the moment by being like, oh, I have this and I have this. It's like, take a deeper look, like at like, how much are you doing so that you can like please the other side? So chasing doesn't work. It puts them in the buyer versus seller. Pretty much everything you want to do is switching the dynamic from they're the buyer to you're the buyer, where you're like, what's up? Looking at my friend like, I don't know about this one, dude. What do you think? We have the frame, we're the buyers, they're the sellers, we're not so sure. Now, this is also an energetic thing. Like, I don't want to pretend that like, well, you can just say these words and you switch it, and that's part of it, and it does help it, but like, you can feel the energy coming off a guy where like, he has a lot of options, like, he's busy, like, and he's like not doing it as a technique. Like, it's like really like coming off that guy that he's like, not so sure. And you can feel that it's like energetically really solid, okay? Same with the self-qualification, where like those guys that are like legit, it's like, you know, they don't feel the need to do it, you know? And like I said, even me, I'll catch myself, like I'm not, you know, a perfect guy, believe it or not. I'll catch myself where I'm like about to do it and I'm like, really grinds my gears to have to be like, oh, well, like, let me tell you why you should. So let me give one more example. This is kind of like a sales example versus the women, but like, I'll give you an example. Like I would be like selling and the person's like, well, why should I go with you? And I'm like, I'm not saying you should. I don't know enough yet. Like, I'm here to kind of find out what the situation is and then see what might make sense. You see how I'm not like buying into the frame where I'm gonna qualify myself? Because as soon as I do, I know I'm kicking on that part of the brain that's gonna look for everything that's wrong, okay? So like when you are working on this area of life with the opposite sex, it's something to keep in mind that like, I'm not saying that you can't call, text, go up to, introduce yourself, start a conversation, because you have to do that. Like, even when you do sales, you're like getting on the sales call. It's like, you're still doing the thing, right? So I'm not saying that like, you don't take steps towards it, but you're not sold. So many of these guys, they like see the girl and they're like, oh, I would do anything. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, she looks all right, but like, what's up, dude? She could be an awful person and like no fun. And a lot of these girls aren't that much fun, man. Like, I got a girl right now, love her, like, she's awesome. She's like a fucking badass chick. But most of these girls like aren't. Like, they look good, but it's like, they're pretty boring, okay? So this is what I mean, where it's like not being sold on it yet. Where all these other guys are like, I would just do anything. And I'm like, ugh, you know? Feel it out a little bit, daddy. You don't have to dive right in. Like, you don't know. You don't know her yet, dude. Like, feel it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, chasing doesn't work. Below this video, I put my email address. Drop me an email. Like, tell me what's up, man. I want to hear what's going on with you guys. I want to hear what you guys are working on. I want to see where you're at in your journey. Drop me a comment. Tell me how this is showing up for you. Tell me where you feel like this is like occurred for you in your life and like what you've done to solve it. And I'd be curious, like, can you guys see the ways that you self-qualify? Like, can you guys see where it's like, oh shit, like, I'm not doing that because I like it so much. I'm doing it because I feel like I like have to like kind of do it. Like, you know, I'll give you an example, like the way I dress, like my fashion, like I do it because I'm feeling myself, you know? And like, I like the look. I would honestly say like, you know, I still look dope, but it's because I enjoy it. It's not like I feel like I have to do this. You know what I mean? So I'd be curious if you guys can like look at your own life, like look at the fact that you like lift and make money and just ask yourself like how much of it is because like I really enjoy doing this, or I really want to do it for me because it's like good for me, and how much of it is like the external. And I'm not going to be like, it has to be nothing external. It's like, okay, dude, like, you know, we still want to look good. Even me with my fashion, it's like fashion quotes. You know, we want to look good, right? But like, you want it where predominantly the driver is because you actually want to do it for you and because like you actually enjoy it. So chasing doesn't work. Switching the buyer-seller dynamic, not qualifying yourself, understanding why it doesn't work, which is it like causes their brain to switch into that part that's like prevention oriented. And then deeper, looking at your own life and being like, am I doing this just to qualify? Like, is my entire life a compensatory qualification? If it is, no big deal, baby. It's not hard. You just cut out the shit that you don't want to do, that like, that isn't being done for you. So you don't have to like change what you're doing. You just change the space that it's coming from. You know what I mean? You're like, if you're like lifting because you feel like it's going to attract women, it's like, drop it. Like, just lift for you. What's cool though is it's going to change your relationship with what you do, and you'll actually enjoy it more, because no longer is it something that like, well, I do this and then in the future I'll like enjoy myself. Like right now when I go lift, I'm like just doing it because it's like healthy. And I'm like feeling it, you know what I mean? I'm like in the gym, like kind of like dancing, like I'm feeling like every rep and set, because I'm not like striving for something in the future like every other guy is in there, you know? Which, hey, they can do the same thing. Do whatever you want, baby. Like, if you want it to be like an endless strive to an empty, illusory pot of gold at the end, like, go for it. But I mean, I've done that enough. I've like lived that enough where I've like strived and like gone after the thing just to arrive and see that it's like, there's no there. And now I'm much more oriented to like, what's gonna land and work for me now. The other cool thing is, like I talked about in this video, like if you're actually happy with you and you're not doing that other thing, like it's gonna further reinforce that you're not the seller. Like it's gonna further cause you not to chase, because you're like, yo, I'm fucking awesome. And I'm like just enjoying my life, and I'm doing this because like I want to do it. It feels free. It feels good for me. And like, you can hop on the ride or not. Daddy, like, you know, it'll be more fun if you're there, girl, and it's like good, but if not, then whatever. And again, as I'm recording this video and into the foreseeable future, I've moved from that perpetually single to like having an amazing chick and like an amazing relationship. And it's been awesome. So, all right, rambly. Information below, shoot me an email, tell me what's going on with you guys. All right, I love you guys. Todd out. But as always, I shan't not return.